And in sad news, New York's Kayvon screw it. New York's rookie has an MCL sprain, expect to miss 3 to 4 weeks. Yoink! What the Yeah, I know I'm on, but I don't care. I don't start the show until I get my bagel. Go ahead, try to find a replacement.
Giants Kayvon Thibodeaux to miss 3 to 4 weeks with an MCL sprain, but I'm back. So the rumors are true. I had a baby. She's really cute. I spent all summer with her. It was
Welcome
awesome.
back, Jesse!
And now I'm back!
Let's go!
Because you can have it all. Women can have it all. So
Yeah,
I'm
that's
back.
true.
I'm back. As for what's coming up in the show today, we have it all going on for you guys. We got football. We got baseball. We got big news in the golf world. We're going to talk NFTs. We're going to talk Rainmakers. It's going to be awesome. But first things first, Jared and Emerson are in the house. So fellas, take it away.
That's right, it's the takeoff,
Yeah.
baby!
Wow. It's good to be back.
It's good to have you back. Good to have Jesse here, Billy behind the camera,
Billy's here
everyone
too.
in the control room.
Yeah.
Man, today is a good day.
Today's a great day. You want to know why? Because I'm still alive. You want to know why I'm still alive? Because I threw a strike, Emerson. I threw a strike.
Oh,
All
we are
that being
still
nervous
talking
for
about
what?
that. But no, we know you're dead inside because
inside.
your Red Sox continue to struggle,
They're not
and
good.
they're 6 games back of a wild card spot. Postseason feeling like a long shot. Hey, listen.
It's like 2-something%, 2.8.
Yeah, you're telling me there's a chance, right?
chance.
What would you like to see, though, from this team down the stretch that would give you some positive vibes? What do you want to see?
Ooh, there's really only one answer to that, and the answer is Tristan Cassis,
Okay.
who's eligible to come up today without losing his rookie status for next year.
You think they do it?
Yeah, they will. I don't know if it'll be today.
Okay.
I don't know if it'll be tomorrow. But now we've kind of crossed that threshold where now he can come up without losing his rookie status, and I think that's at this point the only thing to look forward to. Like the Red Sox don't have any other big name prospects that they could call up at this point that could be someone that can contribute this year or next year, or whatever. There's no Albert Pujols home run record chase that's going on. Like, there's nothing.
I
Like
know.
it is a barren wasteland
bad.
that we're watching right now in Boston. It's terrible. It's
And
terrible.
then you have the Blue Jays coming to town, and the Blue Jays are 10-3 against Boston this season.
You know what the run differential is against the Blue Jays this year?
Well, it's got to be a boatload because they put up, 28 runs against the Sox like
Yeah.
a month ago at Fenway Park. That
Negative
was terrible.
40.
Oh, my God.
Negative 40
Pathetic. What a-
against one team.
What a wet fart.
They're 3-10 with a negative
Yeah.
40 run differential against the Toronto Blue Jays, and they get Kevin Gausman in the series finale, who this has to be like his 26th start against the Red Sox this year. He's got like a 1-7 against the Red Sox this year. By the way, you want to talk about like mistakes that the Red Sox have made? They didn't even call Kevin Gausman when he was a free agent. Like, don't you think you could use a guy like Kevin Gausman on this team right now?
100%.
Didn't even
Yes.
call him.
And did you watch the Blue Jays series against the Yankees?
Yeah, I
too?
did, yeah.
It was heated. So it was like your guy Aaron Judge gets
Yeah.
plunked by Alec Manoah. Garrett Cole wasn't too happy about it.
Yeah.
What he said, he's tired of Yankees hitters getting dusted. Then Manoah responds to Cole, essentially saying, come do something
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
You called Cole. There we go.
Yeah.
There's the tweet right there.
Look at
You
that.
called Cole the fakest tough guy in the league
Yeah.
on Twitter. But Aaron Judge is your best friend.
Aaron Judge is my best friend.
So whose side are you on here?
Oh my God, I'm on Aaron Judge's side. You know what, Aaron Judge? If you go back and watch this clip, right?
Yeah.
Garrett Cole comes out. Alec Manoah is going up to apologize to Aaron Judge, being like, "Hey, I didn't mean to do that." Like he said, he was working on his sinker, didn't have control. I mean, that didn't sink at all. But then Garrett Cole's coming out, and he's John. Let's talk about psychology 101, right?
Let's go.
The day before, Garrett Cole gets touched up by the Toronto Blue Jays. In the second half, Garrett Cole. The Yankees are 1-5 in Garrett Cole starts, including losing his last one the day before. He's got a 5 ERA. It's like 4.86 in those 6 starts. So Garrett Cole goes into the dugout and he's banging the roof and he's like, "Come on, Garrett, like just do your job." He's talking to himself in the third person. Like you can read his lips.
Yeah.
So he's disappointed in himself. He knows that he's not carrying his weight and he's one of the biggest reasons for the Yankees slide. Like, you're supposed to be the ace, and you're 1-5 in your last 6 starts. Can't happen. So what he's doing is he's overcompensating, and it's A-Rod. A-Rod used to do that all the time. Big time overcompensation guy. So Gerrit Cole will come out far enough so that the TV cameras can see him, and so that the fans in the stands can see him, but not far enough to where Alek Manoah can break his jaw. That's what happened there. And if you watch Aaron Judge after he gets hit, he looks at his dugout, he's like, shut up. He's telling his own teammates, like, look at the Yankee fans, like, oh, so you can't be a good teammate anymore? Oh, he's not supposed to come out and defend his teammate? The guy who got hit was saying, shut up, dude. Get back in the dugout. You're embarrassing yourself. And that's what that was. It was secondhand embarrassment. Or at least if you didn't feel secondhand embarrassment, you should, because he embarrassed himself there.
All right, is this whole thing like a Joey Gallo curse right now? Because do you remember when he was slumping, they sent him off to the Dodgers, right? Mm-hmm. And then since joining LA, 12 games, 3 taters, 5 ribbies, and OPS over 1,000. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, New York 5-14, I believe, since the breakup.
Yeah. There's a couple curses going on right now, Emerson. I'd love to discuss them if we could.
Please, this is your platform to do so.
Sure. There is definitely a curse of Joey Gallo, and when he was talking about it in his interview about how, trust me, I know, living in New York, it's not a good time. It's actually very miserable, and I can understand why Joey Gallo was sad. And when Joey Gallo is sad, he can't hit. Then he goes to the West Coast. He's like, oh, I live on the beach now. Yep. Sunshine every day. There's no rain. There's no idiot Yankee fans that are saying mean things to me. So that's one thing. But the other element here, Jordan Montgomery. Brian Cashman. You traded one of your best pitchers for an outfielder that has been injured since spring training. He can't even. Jordan Montgomery last night, complete game, 1 hit, shutout, 99 pitches. He has what he's now.
So New York has one more win
than Jordan Montgomery does.
Because New York 5-14
Correct.
since that breakup, since like the trade deadline, or whatever. And yes, your
Jordan
boy's 4-0,
Montgomery
right?
is 4-0 with like an 0.35 ERA just through a complete game shutout. By the way, Albert Pujols, that was the decision maker in that one. Hit the homer on a pitch that was like up here.
And he's 7 home runs away from 700.
Yeah,
do you think he gets there, Pujols?
By next week?
No, I'm just saying, by the end of the season.
By next week.
You think he gets there by next week?
I think he gets there by next week.
That's a little.
He's on pace to do it. Billy, is he on pace to do it by next week? He's on pace to do it by next week. I don't know what you're talking. Are you watching this?
I am watching.
Okay.
He's playing like Albert Pujols in his prime.
Did you know? Shout out to Jeremy Frank. He's a nerd. I believe he's on Twitter. He's a nerd on Twitter, but I think he just got hired by the Astros as an intern or whatever.
Okay.
He tweeted this yesterday. So Albert Pujols has like a 1,300 or something OPS over his last 10 games. It's his slugging percentage, not even OPS. Slugging percentage over his last 10 games. It's the highest slugging percentage in any 10-game stretch in his entire career. He's 49.
He says he's not coming back next year.
He's not.
He says he's not. All right. Let's just say he doesn't get there by next week like you believe he will.
Yep.
How close do you think he would have to be in order to say, F it, I'm going to come back until I become the 4th member of the 700 home run club?
I don't think he's going to do that.
Dude, if you're like 3 or 2 away, you have to
A-Rod
come
was
back.
4 away. The most narcissistic,
he's a coward.
egocentric,
he's a coward, he's a fraud. I'm done with that.
Me
Pujols,
guy
great
in the
human
world.
being.
A-Rod changed the game. Because now, if A-Rod said retiring with the Yankees is more important to me than hitting 700 home runs, and he was at 696, Albert can't be the guy that says, you know what, I'm going to come back with the Marlins next year and hit 2 more home runs to get to 700.
The Cardinals.
Because no one's going to care.
You play like 3 weeks. You do whatever it takes to hit the 3 home runs, whatever you need to do to get to 700.
Yeah.
And then literally after you hit that 700 tater, like you hit home plate and you just walk your ass right off.
If it's not in St. Louis, I don't think he would do it. But I genuinely don't think, because now if you're at 693. Is anyone going to sit there and be like, well, it's not 700, though? Like, he had 693 home runs. If he doesn't hit another one for the rest of his career, like, people will be like, yeah, I mean, he's not, like, in the 700 club, but 693 is 700. And 696
No, 693 is 693.
But
if he's at 696, 697, I think you come back. I think you
I don't think
It's
he's coming
okay.
back unless it's St. Louis.
I want to see history. I love, give me the history.
Me too.
I don't get juiced up over like 696, 697.
Well, you're seeing
home runs.
history right now.
I
Have you ever
understand
seen
that.
a 50-year-old man hit 6 home runs in 7 games?
Yep, I certainly have.
Just
in
now?
in softball, I've seen it. in softball.
Okay, got it.
What's your hot take of the day, Jared Carabas?
I'm glad that we tailed over to this direction before we got to the hot take. Because I don't even think there's people that are going to be upset about this hot take. There's people are going to
get
be upset
about your hot take every single week.
Yeah, but they feel
That's
like
what hot takes are for.
Yeah, but like this hot take, I feel like people are going to hear it and be like, I don't know if I was ready for it. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where you have to like prep yourself,
None of us are ready for it.
especially in this baseball climate that we're in right now.
Oh,
I feel like a
God.
lot of people are sensitive about this particular subject.
Let me hear it.
It's like a marketing strategy in a way. Come here, Billy.
Yeah. Say it.
Major League Baseball should let Pujols take steroids. What are we doing? What? Is it a business or not?
love it.
Is it a business or not? Are we putting people in the stands or not?
But this is
Do
not
we
a hot
want
take.
people to talk about the record books or not?
This is a correct take.
How many people have chased a milestone
Yep.
or a home run record
My
that
God.
we just couldn't get behind because of the individual that was chasing it? Everyone, and I mean everyone, loves Albert Pujols.
My
Correct?
guy.
Is that wrong?
No, you are
Everyone
absolutely right. We
loves
just
Albert
talked
Pujols.
about it.
And the other thing too, never failed a test, as far as we know. Super clean his entire career. So if he's like, it's kind of like when old people they think that like the brake is the gas,
Yeah.
and then they just crash into a bank by an accident.
Yeah.
It's like you're not gonna arrest them for that. They're old.
Yeah.
Let Albert Pujols take steroids for the last month and a half of his career. Who cares?
This is the best hot take you have had since we have launched this segment called The Takeoff.
Yeah.
I'm a big believer, and I'm being dead serious. I'm a big believer in that guys should be able to take HGH steroids. Pitchers should be able to use spider tack because that is when baseball is at its best.
Right.
Numbers galore, taters galore, strikeouts galore, fights galore, ginormous dudes doing ginormous beefy things.
So not only that, but the thing about steroids, and I've never taken steroids. Ever.
No, that's natural. I can tell that's natural.
Listen, I've never taken steroids.
I know, dude. You tell me every time we talk.
So they're mostly for recovery. Like I want Albert to, there's 41 games left. I just want him to play the games.
Yeah.
I'm not saying like, you get on a steroid cycle for 41 games. You're not really going to get like the strength benefit. That's not going to kick in right away. This is just for recovery. Get Albert out of bed in the morning.
Yeah, because he has the strength. We know that. He's a strong guy. Look at him.
He's been in home runs. I just, it's more for the recovery. Like, get his body ready every single day. Get out there, hit some homers. And it's been a while since we've, as baseball fans, have been able to feel that for a guy that's actually like no one cared if A-Rod hit 700.
Seen someone like so jacked in a Cardinals uniform since Mark McGwire.
Yeah, and we were naive back then.
No, I mean we knew what was going on.
I didn't. I was 10.
Oh, 100% knew.
I was
I was like 12 and I said, "Oh, Dad, that dude's on steroids." I was like, "I love him. I want to be just like him when I grow up."
How did you know about steroids back then?
Dude, Florida, man.
Okay.
We did some weird things down there. Good seeing you.
It's good to see you too.
Fantastic hot take today.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right, so we're going to talk America's team. That's the Jacksonville Jaguars, not the Seattle Mariners, and the rest of the AFC South as we kick off our daily division previews right after this.
Hey, it's a pleasure.
Right back at you.
Thanks.
Football is fast approaching. Thank God. Am I right?
Dude, we need this. I think it'll be 2 weeks from this Thursday. It's the Bills and DOS Rams.
Baby! So we're going to go through. We're going to give a DFS and sportsbook preview of each division. As we just roll through, we're going to do that as the weeks go on. Here to do the previewing, Draftkings contributors Pierce Dietrich and Julian Edlow. Fellas, thank you for being here.
So it's the AFC South today.
AFC South, baby.
It's the division of the working man. So, Jules, I'll start with you. Who do we think the top DFS player in the division is going to be? Jonathan Taylor is the easy answer here. Don't do that.
I mean, you tee me up, you give an awkward silence, the camera comes to me, and then you give your spiel about Jonathan Taylor, who is the obvious answer.
Yeah.
He's good in the NFL by far. And, you know, he's coming off a season in which he was a weekly play, almost regardless of matchup. It was more the salary that you would be afraid of than what he was going to produce on the field. So I'll spin it this way. The obvious answer is Taylor. I think there will be some sneaky weeks, including maybe week 1, where you can get cheaper stacks. Like if you stack Matt Ryan and Michael Pittman Jr., they're $5,500 apiece. That's $11K, which is just a little bit more than Jonathan Taylor. And that duo can certainly produce against a team like the Texans. So I just think that there will be, as good of a season as Taylor will have, some really good weeks to get cheap stacks in the Indy passing game. Mo Alley Cox also is going to be the tight end there and get, you know, a chance to really shine as the tight end 1. You'll get cheap exposure to the passing game, and I think that's a good way to play off Taylor, but he's the obvious answer here. You can't say anyone else.
All right, Pierce, you agree with that? I mean, a dude who averaged 24 fantasy points per game last season?
Yeah, I'm on the same page. There's going to be weeks in daily fantasy where, you know, we might be attracted to some cheap Texans or Jaguars and we'll immediately regret it on Monday. But for season-long fantasy, you can pretty much just scratch out the entire Texans roster. And then across the board, maybe, you know, there is a decent running back in Tennessee named Derrick Henry, but I don't think he's going to get the same amount of volume. And I believe his skill set is diminishing somewhat. It's nowhere near what Taylor has. So you can't consider him. Quarterbacks just can't compete with running backs, and especially the quarterbacks in this division. And then you look at the wide receivers. There just really aren't any elite wide receivers that are going to receive a lot of volume. It's Taylor, and it's not even close. I don't even know if there is this much disparity in any other division where there's just one guy better than everybody else. This is probably the division for that.
All right, Jules, in terms of division winner odds, Colts are the favorite to win at -130. Not really a surprise there. Only problem with betting the Colts is they joined the Bills as the only AFC teams with negative odds to win their division. Not a lot of value, so what's the best bet here?
It's the Colts. The first NFL future that I wrote up on the DK playbook this offseason was the Colts. They came out at even money. I wrote them up at -120. They've moved a little bit to -130. They're the best team in the division. And this is a division that you can't do this in many. You can pretty much write off 2 of the 4 teams from the start. Maybe the Texans or Jags exceed our expectations. There is zero shot that they're winning the division. So you can throw 2 teams out. It's between Tennessee and Indy like it was last year. Last year, Tennessee swept the season series 2-0 head-to-head and won the division. A lot of that based on Carson Wentz mistakes. This season, we saw what Ryan Tannehill really is in the playoffs. We have Derrick Henry, you know, banged up, maybe trending downward. Julio Jones and A.J. Brown are no longer catching passes there in Tennessee. It seems like Tennessee has taken a step back, and Indy has taken a clear step forward with Matt Ryan replacing Carson Wentz. Everybody knows how much of an upgrade that should be. You put Stephon Gilmore into your secondary, a guy a few years removed from a Defensive Player of the Year. Like, they're going in 2 different directions, and I think the Colts easily win this one. I will mention, like, maybe the biggest lock, I use that term loosely, on the board for NFL futures. You can bet on DK Sportsbook, like, you know, top 2 in a division or division exacta. You bet the Titans and Colts to be the top 2 teams in the division. It's order doesn't matter. It's -240. It's super juicy. But does anybody think Jacksonville or Tennessee is going to land in the top 2? So if you want to stretch yourself even more, I just don't see how that doesn't get there.
All right, Pierce, any chance you're going with the Titans at +175 to win the division?
No, if I'm betting season long, I want a little bit longer odds, and I'm not going to get it in this division. So what I'm looking at in this division is if you go a little bit deeper, you can get any Houston running back for over 1,000 yards to get plus 700. Damian Pierce is getting a lot of heat in the preseason. The reports are that he has already won the starting job in Houston. His backups are Marlon Mack, who won't survive a season, and Rex Burkhead, who rarely plays. So he is going to get a ton of volume. He plays for a bad team that has nothing to play for. They might as well just feed him the ball. And oh, by the way, their coach is Lovie Smith, one of the old school coaches who loves to run the ball, never passes. They're going to give the ball to Pierce a lot, and I would not be surprised in 17 games for him to easily clear 1,000 yards rushing.
All right, Pierce, this one's an easy one for you. Your favorite team win total, like in the division, plus 100 for the Jags to go over 6.5 wins. I think you've mentioned that multiple times in the show before, right? That's where you're going?
No, I'm not. If I'm betting Jags, and I'm going with much longer odds, and I'm picking them to go deeper into the playoffs, chasing bigger money.
Good.
The safe bet for me is Houston under 4.5 wins. This is a bad Houston team. This is a throwaway season completely for them. They didn't get the head coach that they want, so they're sitting on Lovie Smith for a year. They have a quarterback who's just kind of out there filling a spot. Davis Mills is not the future. He's not even the present. He never was the past. They're just rolling players out there. Everywhere you look in the roster, it is bad. I think Damian Pierce is halfway decent, but still, he is a fourth-round running back. He's just simply going to get a lot of volume. This is a bad, bad team. They're going to have a really hard time winning games. I like them going under 4.5.
Jules, which win total would you target right now in this division?
Yeah, it used to be Colts over 9.5. I'm not going to go there anymore with the juice or with it being at 10, wherever it's at. So Emerson, it's going to be the Jacksonville Jaguars under 6.5 wins.
You're an idiot.
What am I missing? Every year the Jags are going to get better. I'm looking at their records. They haven't won more than 6 games in 10 of the last 11 years.
Yep.
They keep not doing it, and then we keep getting this number. So I'm just going to keep betting it until it doesn't happen. Like, they had one good year. Where they should have beaten the Patriots and gone to the Super Bowl, but they didn't. Every year they go under. The last 2 years, they've won a combined 4 games. I get that Doug Peterson is a coaching upgrade over the Urban Meyer mess, but okay, let's upgrade him to what, 4 or 5 wins? Why are they going to go 7-10? They got a couple of good ones against Houston that should go better than last year when the Jags were like the chalk in week 1 and got smoked by Houston. Maybe they can go 2-0 in those games this year. They're still not going to win 5 more games to get over this number. They still have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, okay, so I'm just going to tell you right now, you're wrong. So they're going to sweep the Texans. They're going to beat the Commanders in week 1 on the road because that's Carson Wentz, and he can't beat the Jags. They're going to beat the Giants at home in week 7, earn road wins against the Lions in week 13 and Jets in week 16. That'd get them to 6 wins.
Pierce knows the Lions were like 500 last year.
Then they just got to upset. Let's see. You got to find an upset on the schedule and split either against Tennessee or Indianapolis.
You already named like 3 upsets.
Indianapolis, sorry, buddy. Indianapolis has like a 7-year losing streak in Jacksonville. So I'm sorry, dude. You're wrong. And take Jags over 6.5 wins.
All right, mark that tape. We will roll that in January. All right, Jules, give us your favorite player future in the division. Where are you going?
Yeah, it's a Jaguars fade. So one of the player props that I wrote up, I'll admit, I've gotten a little more nervous about this one than when I wrote it up. But Travis Etienne under 107.5 rushing receptions combined was sitting at even money when I put it on DK Playbook. The volume in preseason scares me. They invested a first-round pick in him. He has chemistry with Trevor Lawrence, so it looks like they're going to use him. The two things are he's coming off a serious foot injury. He's a guy that got a lot of usage in 4 years of college, so he already has some mileage there and got injured, missed his whole rookie season. So he's coming off a bad foot injury that could always creep back up on him. And while the workload is there in preseason, number one, he needs it because he has no NFL experience. And number 2, James Robinson isn't there because of the Achilles tear last year. But the Jags are saying he's going to be ready for week 1. Now, they might ease him back in. They should ease him back in. But over the course of the season, that's a 2-man backfield with Etienne and Robinson. So between the injury history and the splits in production that I think he'll eventually have to have with Robinson, getting up over 1,000 yards this season seems a little lofty for an offense that's generally going to be playing from behind.
All right, Pierce, what do we think?
Davis Mills under 3,600 yards passing. If you look at Lovie Smith, what he did with Jay Cutler in 4th season, Cutler only went over 3,600 yards once, and that was 3,660 yards. Jameis Winston threw for 4,000, which is over that number, but that's not much considering that Tampa offense was pretty strong and they let Winston do whatever he wanted. Lovie Smith just doesn't pass the ball, and Davis Mills can't pass the ball. You look at his quarterback rating from last year at PFF. He was 35th out of 37. Brandon Cooks is 32. Their second-round wide receiver, unfortunately, has leukemia, so he's not going to be able to play. Their offensive line's terrible, and even as bad as they were, Davis Mills was like 23rd in pressure rate. So 22 quarterbacks faced more pressure than Davis Mills last season, and he was still miserable out there. Then you add in, well, if he gets injured, he's not going to get there. If he gets benched, he's not going to get there. Under 3,600 yards for Davis Mills seems pretty safe.
All right, Jules, before you take off, you're Mr. NBA for us, and there was some major news that came down just moments ago. Kevin Durant staying with the Brooklyn Nets. Check this out. He has agreed to return to Brooklyn and move forward with the organization. The Nets announcing through a press release, again, just moments ago. So your big takeaway here, Jules, and maybe the impact here on some futures bets.
Yeah, honestly, kind of expected in my mind. When I was out in Vegas covering Summer League, I was on VSiN with Femi, and we were talking about the odds. And at the time, Kevin Durant was like plus 350 to play his next game for the Nets. And we talked about what if he just doesn't get traded and you get 3.5 to 1. I'm kicking myself now for not betting that. He was, even days later, he was still, minus 120 to stay with the Nets. And now here we are. The problem is all the teams that had the fit, the Phoenixes, the Miamis, they don't have the trade packages. And teams like, all that noise about Jaylen Brown, that's coming from the Nets to try and up offers from other teams to get Kevin Durant. And it just ultimately didn't work out because trading Kevin Durant with 4 years of contract left, a top 5 player in the NBA or whatever, is hard to do. So in my mind, a lot of people right now are probably rushing to DK Sportsbook to bet some win totals, some division, or to win the East, anything for the Nets. Let those prices go down and then fade the Nets because they were a mess last year. They were a mess all summer. And just because they come to some agreement that Kevin Durant's going to stay, we already know he doesn't want to. He showed his truthful hand already. This is just being forced back to where he is. Kyrie doesn't want to be there. They don't like the general managing. They don't like the coaching. Ben Simmons is coming back, so now Ben Simmons is going to help the mentality of that locker room. The mindset in that locker room is like a bunch of lunatics. It is not going to last all year. It will blow up at some point in time. So just get a better price on the Nets now and fade them. Kevin Durant or Kyrie Irving will be traded before the trade deadline.
Yeah, there are the reports too. The Nets are telling other teams that they're going to keep like Kyrie Irving. So does that impact this at all? You think that they're more likely to say, hey, no, we're going to keep you around. We're going to run this thing back.
Yeah.
The talent is there. They're just kind of being forced into running it back.
Right.
Like Durant has 4 years of contract left. So you have to get a great offer to move him. Otherwise, you just say, we're going to keep you. Kyrie Irving wanted to go, and the Nets wanted him to go, but he would have had to take a $30 million pay cut to go. So he opted into his contract and stayed. So now you're going into a season where Kyrie is somewhere that he doesn't want to be because he didn't want to take a $30 million pay cut. And, Kyrie Irving has hurt his team each of the last, 4 or 5 seasons at this point. So I don't know how him being in a place that he doesn't want to be, just so that he doesn't have to take the pay cut he doesn't want to take, is going to help them, especially with a guy like Ben Simmons taking the ball out of their hands. The pieces aren't there. The talent is all there, but none of the other pieces are there. And I would be willing to bet that this ends very messy this season.
Yes.
Versus this being the year that the Nets actually get their talent together and go somewhere in the East.
Oh, could not agree with you more. It is going to implode.
I love mess.
Yes, we know you do.
Wait to cover that.
We love drama.
Mess. We love mess. Okay, thank you guys. Thank you, Julian, for giving your quick take on that. Quick break here.
Yeah.
And then we're going to play a rousing game of What's in the Hat.
Your first go-around with
My
this.
first go-around. And if you don't know what that is, stick around to find out.
right, welcome back to the show, everybody. I'm Emerson Lotze alongside Jesse Cofield. Hopefully you remember her. So while you were gone, we added a fun little game to our weekly segments here. It's called What's in the Hat. Okay. So it's easy for us because it's a light lift. The analysts do all the work here. Great. And as we just showed the full screen, if we can do that one more time, Billy, this is kind of how it works. So we're going to pick a name out of the hat here, and then Steve or Garion will then put that guy into one of 4 categories for the night. Okay. So it's 20 plus points, 10 plus points, 5 plus points, 0 fantasy points. But each analyst can also pass the player that they pick. You get 1 pass, which would force the other analysts to assign that player to a specific category. Okay. So I think it's pretty easy to understand and roll with. It's taken us about 2 months to kind of understand it ourselves. Yeah. But last week, don't really know who won. Yeah,
it sounds like
we're confused again. So Garion was the only one to win a category with Julio Rodriguez going well over 10 plus points. However, the spirit of the game here is to guess how many fantasy points they will have, and Steve did a hell of a job of putting his guys in the correct categories.
So we'll do this.
I'm hearing Garion got a category right.
And no
did. So the scoring seems really simple to me.
Listen, we don't want to be.
Why are we making this game more complicated?
Dude, we don't want to be combative. We don't want this right now.
I just want to say, for the record, I had nothing to do with that, obviously, because this is my first time being back. So let's just do it.
Let's start this week.
Can I start?
Yes. And Garion, we're gonna let you go first.
Okay. So I just pick a name.
Yeah, just pick a name. Any random name. What do you got? Read it.
Jesse Winker.
I can't see it. Oh, okay.
That's what I picked.
Okay.
So now, Garion, you're gonna go first. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to put Jesse Winker in the 0 DraftKings points category. And it's really just because he's one of the worst players in the hat. I mean, that's just kind of how this works. I'm sorry, Jesse Winker. I know you've kind of been okay lately. I don't know. You go back to the start of July, he's still only hitting 200. He does have a 200 isolated power in there, which is nice, I guess. But Winker's kind of boom or bust. I mean, he's more than likely to have an offer on any given night. And while Eric Fetty hasn't pitched a major league game in a month, that's a bit of a red flag. You've also got that Nationals bullpen, which is not overly enticing. Jesse Winker is also someone who can kind of struggle making contact from time to time. So I'm going to put him in that 0 DraftKings point category.
All right. I like that.
Okay, so now do I pick another one for Steve?
Yes, now it's Steve's turn.
So do I pick it or do you pick it?
Yeah, no, you can pick it. Come on, it's your first time. I'll let you get some action. What do you got?
Alex Bregman.
Okay, Bukes, what do you want, dude?
That's a.
Oh God.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna put him in the 10 spot. I'm gonna put Bregman in the 10 spot here.
Okay.
Going up against Aaron Sanchez, who is still a major league pitcher at this point, a major league pitcher for a team that's in contention. So try to figure that one out there. I don't understand that, but Sanchez has been absolutely disgusting against right-handed bats, and not in a good way. 492 WOBA against them, and Bregman has been on a different level. He has his kid, comes back to Major League Baseball, and now he hits everything and everything. Maybe he's overly excited that he doesn't have to be waking up in the middle of the night like Jesse has been doing for the past, 8 months now, or so, or however long it's been. It feels like it's been forever, Jesse. But over this month, 25 hits this month, 13 extra base hits, 5 home runs, 8 doubles. He's absolutely locked in at the plate right now, so I'll throw him in the 10 spot.
Sometimes you have a kid and you come back and you're just on fire.
Dude, let's go, Queen.
Oh, do I go again?
We're picking. Yeah, this is. It's
okay, so Garion, let's go, baby.
Carlos Rodon.
All right.
Where are we putting him?
This one's probably the easiest one in the hat. Over 20 DraftKings points.
Okay.
Carlos Rodon, who's the most expensive pitcher on tonight's slate for good reason. I mean, this is a really strange pitching slate. You've got 7 absolute studs at the top, and then the Aaron Sanchez's of the world are all populated below 7K. So it's a real Jekyll and Hyde situation we got going here. But Rodon's the best of the best tonight. He's got a 1.48 ERA and a 2 FIP across his last 4 starts. He's striking out 33.3% of batters in that span of time, which is kind of ho-hum for Carlos Rodon. That's just what he does. And then you've got a Tigers team that since the beginning of August is dead last in baseball in WRC+, isolated power, WOBA, and also have the highest strikeout rate in that span of time, up around 29%. So I think we're definitely looking at a double-digit strikeout game from Carlos Rodon tonight.
And it's a 15-game main slate too. So it's one of those rare nights, right? We have every team like in action tonight, which is pretty cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's Tuesday. Every Tuesday.
All right,
Yep, I
Steve.
just wanted you to know that.
Matt Olson.
Okay, I'll put him in the 5 spot for tonight, going against JT Brubaker. Not an imposing matchup by any means. Brubaker has struggled against lefties all throughout his career. 334 WARBR against them this year. 7 of the 13 home runs that he's allowed has been to left-handed backs, and for whatever reason, PNC Park is very roomy. Brubaker struggles more here than he does on the road. Doesn't make a lot of sense. The PNC Park can hold like 15 other ballparks in Major League Baseball. It's just that roomy. But for whatever reason, he just can't pitch well here. This Braves lineup was very disappointing last night. I think that turns around here tonight against Brubaker. So I'll put him in the 5 spot. That's probably being a little bit conservative. He could have a better night than that, but I think he fits just nice in that spot.
So that leaves you with 20 points and 0 points. Those are your 2 categories left, Steven. So it's boom or bust. Gare Bear, and both of you still have a pass.
Boom! Nick Castellanos.
Who? You know what? I'll take Castellanos. I'm going to put him in the 5 DraftKings point spot. This is an interesting matchup against Nick Lodolo, who has been really kind of showing out recently for the Reds. I mean, the Reds are just looking for bright spots at this point. His last start was 7 scoreless innings against this same Phillies team. However, you've now got a rookie pitcher who's making his 2nd consecutive start against the same team. They've got a little bit more of a book on this guy. And Castellanos has been hitting much better in August. And for the season as a whole, he's really only been DFS viable when he's facing a left-handed pitcher. So I don't think it's going to be a huge night for Castellanos. He's been king of the single so far in 2022, but I think he can get 5 DraftKings points.
Okay, Gare Bear, you only have 1 category left. Next name, Miss Cofield, please.
Steven. Baby.
What do we have? I can't even see.
Jeff McNeil.
Okay.
Expletive.
Oh, boom,
You have
bust,
a
or
pass.
pass.
You have a pass.
Yeah, what does Garion have left?
He only has
10.
the 10-plus fantasy point category left.
Give it to Garion.
Okay, Gare Bear.
Okay, well,
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. I don't think Jeff McNeil was my ideal guy to put in the 10 DraftKings point slot, but he's really good, and he's really good against right-handed pitching in particular. McNeil in August also has a 196 WRC plus across 88 plate appearances. He's red hot right now. So I think McNeil can definitely get this done, particularly against Frankie Montas, who ever since he put on pinstripes has been terrible. I mean, to be fair to Montas, he was terrible all season not pitching in the Coliseum. So he's kind of just been doing what he's doing. But 12 earned runs in his first 12 innings as a Yankee. So I think Jeff McNeil can do some damage tonight.
Okay, Steven, that means you get the next 2 picks. They're either going 20. One's going to go in either the 20-plus category, point category, or 0. So here we go.
Really need a pitcher here, Jesse.
sorry.
Oh, ow now, low brow cow.
All right, see, this is what happens. See, I always do this to myself. I put myself in this corner, so I got to put Nate in the 0 spot because I'm really banking on getting a pitcher in the next 2 because there's 2 pitchers left. So I'm going to put him in the 0 spot. I mean, it is a good matchup against German Marquez at Coors Field. 392 WARBR against lefties. That's what Marquez has. 7 of the 21 home runs that he's allowed. This should be a good spot for him, but I mean, I can't put him in the 20 spot. So by default, I got to put him in the 0 spot. So Jesse, I really need you to pull a pitcher here.
Steve,
Like, I know this is your first day back and everything, but I need you.
Kirk.
All
No,
right.
do not give me Kirk.
Let's go.
Tell me when to
Don't
stop.
give me Kirk.
Stop.
Tell me.
Kirk.
What do we got?
Hey!
Oh no!
Like,
Captain
it's
Kirk!
This was the only guy when I saw the list, I'm like, he's absolutely going in the 0 spot. Now by default, he's gonna go in the 20 spot. This was horrible. This is why I hate this game. This game's stupid. Who made this game?
Dude,
Not
he's,
me.
he's an absolute unit. Come on.
I mean, he's been terrible for the past 2 months.
You
Yes.
hate to see it.
Only 3 extra base hits this month, 3 doubles. That's all he's had. The power has dropped off dramatically since the beginning of July. Here's the worst part. Out of context, if people see this list, they probably think I'm the biggest idiot because they're like, how do they put Kirk in the 20 spot? And so there you go. 2 pitchers left in there. I get the catcher. Can't hit for power at all.
Josh Winkowski's
20.
bad. You got that going for you.
Yeah, I mean, the Blue Jays do have what did Jared say, a plus 42 run differential against the Red Sox this season? Absolutely absurd. So yeah, we'll put Kirk in the 20 spot, and I really, I get paid for this job, and I say Kirk's gonna have 20 DraftKings fantasy points tonight. 20 plus.
Wow.
Maybe it's another 28
Luck of
spot
the
they
draw.
put up inside Fenway tonight, Steve. Who knows, dude?
Luck of
But
the
yeah,
draw.
that's kind of the risk you take when you pass, and you take chances. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But hey, who knows what the hell's gonna happen tonight?
That was a fun game.
Yes, you liked it, right?
Yeah.
All right, good stuff.
Sorry, Steve.
Nice work, gentlemen. Everyone watching, hang out because we got some major injury news to share with you ahead of the Tour Championship at Eastlake here.
But first, I'm going to be catching up with Chirag here. We're going to talk about what's cooking with Draftkings Rainmakers, so stay tuned for that. Rainmakers football is the next generation of fantasy football, and you can play it exclusively on DraftKings this season. Rainmakers is the first ever NFT fantasy football game where you build your roster through NFT pack drops. Set your lineup each week and win all kinds of new NFTs and prizes along the way. And right now, when you download the DraftKings Daily Fantasy app, you can claim your free full roster starter pack of officially licensed digital player card NFTs. Do it now and start building your fantasy franchise with the Rainmakers football today. All right, so I'm here with Chirag Hira, DraftKings content manager. So let's fully break this down, Chirag. Like, how do you get packs? And once you do have a pack, what do you do with them?
Well, you started it off. What's most important to do is to come here and claim your free starter pack. All you have to do is hit the button and you can instantly claim the starter pack. That's the first step that's really necessary to get going in Rainmakers. This gives you 6 cards, and once you open it, I would suggest the next play to do is go to this drop section, and then what we're doing is we are going to pick up the drop, which is the Superstar Pack. And the reason I say you should pick up Superstar Pack is you're guaranteed a top 20 player in this pack. So if you want a pack sweat and you want a guaranteed player in here, you want to get the Superstar Pack. You can only use 1 Superstar in each lineup, and that goes for everybody that's playing. So most importantly, once you start and build your collection, you want to come to your portfolio. Obviously, nothing is here right now for us, but once you get your starter pack and your Superstar Pack, you come, crack them open, and then you go here. Draft your team. That's the next most important thing. When you draft your team, it takes you to the lobby. Here in the lobby, you'll be able to see all the contests broken down by tier. So the core, which is the starter pack and that Superstar Pack, you'll be able to enter those contests instantly. But then moving on down, you also get that rare and the other ones that are available. But most importantly, as you can see here, we have contests for the first game on Thursday night, but then also the main slate, which is Thursday through Monday. The reason why that's important is you want to build your collection. When you have a QB here, let's say, for example, in your Superstar Pack, you got Josh Allen as your Superstar QB. And then you opened your other pack, your starter pack, and that starter pack didn't have Stephon Diggs in there. All you have to do is click right here and scroll here, and you can literally just add Stephon Diggs to your collection instantly, right from the DraftKings Marketplace. So the best way to get started, get the starter pack, get the Superstar Pack, then come to the lobby, start playing around and building your lineup.
All right, so you showed us in that lobby, like you can join weekly contests, but you can also join leagues, like the one started by our friend Gary V. So can you tell us a little bit about that one?
Yeah, so the Gary V League is a special league that you get to play in. It gives you prizes of V Friends, Rainmakers, Gary Vee experiences, and stuff that hasn't been announced yet. It's also important because it's a contest that goes for 4 weeks. From weeks 1 through 3, what will happen is the top 1,000 finishers in the contest from 1, 2, and 3. So 3,000 finishers will play in a major contest in week 4 for those prizes. All you have to do is click here and you instantly learn more at the DK Nation page.
All right, Shirag, just tell us like what cool new stuff is dropping this week in Draftkings Rainmakers.
So I mentioned earlier that you'll want to consider getting the Superstar Pack and that Starter Pack, but also there is the Elevate Pack. This Elevate Pack is really important because it guarantees you, for example, if you have a rare one, you want to purchase the rare one, all it is $39.99, and it guarantees you 2 skill starter players and 1 rare. What's really cool about that, the set is for the starter pack and the superstar pack are core. So you get to build towards your core and you get a free rare one. And that rare one, what you can do is you can flip it in the marketplace for more money so that you can build your core collection, or you can work on a rare collection. So I really like the Elevate one. It's only $39.99 and you're guaranteed to get a skill starter or a QB1 and a rare card.
All right, now it's not just about the contest, right? It's also about collecting and building your NFT portfolio. So what kind of stuff do we have for the collectors?
We have a franchise score that is available for the collectors. And to learn more about the franchise score, all you have to do is just come to this section here. I have a full article that we got ready for you guys. The franchise score is really important because if you have rookies from the franchise, you'll be able to get 2x points on the franchise score. And not only that, if you hold a field pass, you'll be able to get up to 5% in rebates. What's also really cool about this, in the points, we'll get 5% based on which field pass rarity you own. But there's a snapshot. So on 9/1, everyone that is participating before the season starts, 9/1, there will be a snapshot. And the top players that have their collection will get a prize pool split between $250K and hundreds of packs. So just for collecting, you are already into the prize pool for $250,000.
All right, we've also got some exciting drops outside of football and Rainmakers, so what should people be keeping an eye out for this week?
So this week, when we get back here, on 8/25, there will be a Joe Musgrove drop with Metabilia. This is a really cool drop because it has unique utility. You'll be able to get access to, autographed memorabilia and access to his kind of accomplishments in his career. If you want to learn more, also at DK Nation, all you have to do is just go, and we have a really cool article as well that's written up on Joe Musgrove that is explaining the entire thing. Basically right here, explains his career as well as all the utility that is being provided with this drop.
All right, Chirag, there is always something new and cool happening with DK Marketplace. Thank you for keeping us informed. And speaking of being informed, big golf news. Emerson, fill us in.
Yeah, Jesse, we have some unfortunate and breaking news here in the golf world. The field for this week's Tour Championship down to 29 guys after Will Zalatoris pulls out of the Tour Championship because of 2 herniated discs. He withdrew from the BMW Championship. That was during the 3rd round last weekend on Saturday. He's just 2 weeks removed from his first career victory. But check this out. The guy was 3rd in the FedEx Cup standings because of the staggered scoring here. He was going to start 3 shots back. He was set to begin his chase for the $18 million grand prize. So he's going to miss next month's President's Cup as well. We have Jason Sobel of the Action Network. We have Jeff Ulrich here of DraftKings hanging out with us. Jason, I know you're down in Atlanta right now. I mean, what is he, 26, 2 herniated discs? What's your level of concern for this guy kind of moving forward? We've seen Tiger deal with back injuries his entire career.
Yeah, 25 years old. And yeah, it's not a good sign. I mean, I don't know that it's necessarily a bad long-term sign, but it's certainly not a good sign when you're this young, and he's had some other injuries in the past. And so, yeah, it's, we'll take a wait and see approach towards, what this means for him long term, but certainly, it's a shame. It's bad timing right now, coming just 2 weeks, like you said, off his first career long-awaited PGA Tour victory. He was definitely in the mix to give it a shot and try to win the Tour Championship and the FedEx Cup this week. He's also going to miss the President's Cup. Add some more intrigue this week where it looked like the 12 spots were pretty much set in stone. Now there's all of a sudden a last spot, and there's a lot of guys playing for it this week that maybe are trying to impress Captain Davis Love III. So, a lot of different kind of moving parts coming off this WD from Zalatoris.
Jeff, one less guy to chase down Scotty at the top. Cantlay there in second. I mean, does this change anything for you, like with your betting approach?
It makes the odds, unfortunately, what it does is it makes the odds on some people who you were probably looking at chasers worse. Like we were talking about John Rahm yesterday. He's now down to 1,200 on the DraftKings Sportsbook. I mean, obviously the guy who was starting at 7 under is no longer there. That's just one less hurdle for people to roll over. So, you've got to take that into account. I think that if you're kind of looking at the betting market right now, probably the odds are more appealing in the winners without strokes. But I mean, we'll talk about it. You can still get plus 2,000 on some pretty interesting names to come back. It's a big ask, obviously, but yeah, with Zalatoris out, everyone's odds unfortunately just shrink a little bit because it's not like he was starting at like -1. He was one of the leaders. He was one of the top 5 guys. So definitely, it's shifted the odds a bit. It's you're really gonna have to be committed with whoever you bet this week because you're not getting big odds on basically any of the top 10 guys.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and go there. Let's go to, I believe it's Cantlay. So he's plus 300 here this week. Jason, how do you feel about that bet? He seems to be the hottest guy right now, trying to defend his title there, successfully defended his title at the BMW.
I'm going to preface this, Emerson, by telling you that this is my least favorite tournament of the year to bet. I mean, there's just a finite number of players who can actually win. So if you're looking for an outright, especially an outright just with the staggered scoring, it's only a few guys who can really even win this thing. So at least he's one of those players still. Plus 300, that doesn't get me very excited. He played really well last week. He did it last year, so he can do it again. But I'm not very excited about much of this, really. There's a guy further down the board. I don't know if you want a winner yet, but look at Rory McIlroy a little bit further down the board. He's 6 shots back. How many times has Rory been 6 back through 54 holes and almost won the golf tournament? We always say, man, if he just had a few more holes, I think he'll look at this as a challenge being that far back, and I can see him making a run at this thing.
Yeah, and Jason, correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was the first time they implemented like the staggered scoring. Was that 2019? I think he started 5 strokes back when he ended up winning that. Jeff, I believe yesterday you kind of implied that like these odds right here, not enticing enough for you to bet Cantlay.
No, and like the problem with Cantlay is, I mean, he played great last week. He gained like 8 strokes ball striking, but Scheffler, who's going to be starting 2 strokes in front of him, played great too. He gained like 7 strokes ball striking. The only reason Scheffler didn't win is he just didn't quite sink like as many putts as Cantlay. That could easily flip this week. The bottom line is here, like these 2 guys are both playing well. So, like for Cantlay to bet him at plus 300, he's got to beat Scheffler, who's starting 2 strokes back. I think if I was going to bet either of these guys, it probably would just be Scheffler because he's got the 2-stroke lead, and he's still plus 225. But with Rory and Xander and Rahm back there, and even Sam Burns, I mean, I'm not sure if I'd want to jump on either of these 2. I'll give the lean to Scheffler since we're talking about the 2 leaders right now. Okay. That's where I would go personally. If that putter flips for Scotty and he just starts sinking them like he did at the Masters, he's certainly playing well enough to defend a 2-shot lead like we've seen other elite players do at this event. So Cantlay's kind of a no-go for me. It's unfortunate like that his buddy Xander missed that putt on 18 last week or he'd be flipped. And I might be talking about Patrick Cantlay as the bet, but I'd rather just take the 2-shot lead. It's true, we saw Rory do it in 2019. He came from 5 shots back, but like let's not forget the last 2 years we've seen elite players come in with a 2-shot lead, defend it, and win. So short odds this week, but you got to take what you're given.
So Jeff, then like Jason's already said, like he likes Rory like in this position. If there is a dude who's starting like multiple strokes back, like how far would you actually go with the staggered scoring in order to like bet?
So in the staggered scoring department, like you really have to evaluate here. Like you really have to say, is this player going to come from like 5, 6, 7 shots back? Like you don't want to start betting players like Scott Stallings. Like I like Scott Stallings. He's not going to come from 7 shots back to beat all these elite players, right? But there's a guy in John Rahm who I think absolutely can do it. Like at plus 1,200, like I said, yesterday this was plus 1,600. I liked it a lot better, but there is one less player to go over now. John Rahm shot 65, 67 last week. Last weekend, I should say. I'm pretty sure it was the best score over Saturday and Sunday. His putter is starting to heat up. he shot 65-65 to open this event last year. He didn't quite get there and beat Cantlay, but like he has shown that he likes the venue. He is an absolute beast off the tee, and much like Rory McIlroy, I think he can just come in here and make up ground really, really fast. So Jon Rahm is a player I will have exposure to, but the other player I'm interested in is Sam Burns at plus 2,200. A very elite putter. He can go out and gain 8 strokes putting any day of the week on Bermuda greens. He gained over 4 strokes putting here last year, I believe. And he's at plus 2,200. He's only 5 back. So I think Burns and Rahm both have it in them to do it. It's a long shot. It's not like the best bet ever, like Jason alluded to. This one market kind of sucks for betting, but I'm interested in Rahm this week. I think you could see something special from him.
All right, but Jason, on the DK Sportsbook too, you can bet the winner here, and eliminate the starting stroke. So if you take that aspect out of it, who do you like among the favorites there?
It's exactly what Jeff just said there. It's Jon Rahm for me, coming off a week when he gained strokes putting in the last 3 rounds. Hasn't done that in a very long time. That putter's been cold for most of the year. Looks like he's trending in the right direction. Didn't make a single bogey on the weekend. And remember, last year, he tied Kevin Na for the low 72-hole score. So he's done it before. 65, 65, 68, 68. Here a year ago, we've been getting some rain the last couple of days. Yesterday afternoon, it rained pretty hard for about an hour. We're expecting that, like potential thunderstorms in the afternoon pretty much each day. I want a guy who hits it a long way if it's going to be soft in the fairways. I also want a guy that hits a high ball. Nobody hits a higher ball than Jon Rahm, who can launch it up in the air with his irons. And so for those reasons, I think he's a very nice play at winning without the staggered strokes this week.
All right, Jeff, I'm going to get you out of here with this. Who will be this year's FedEx Cup champion? Who will take home that fat $18 million check?
Oh man, I'm so tempted to pick Rahm. I'm just gonna chicken out though and just say Scotty Scheffler.
Oh, coward. Coward. All right, Jason, hook me up, dude.
Yeah, 2 of the last 3 years, we've seen the number 1 guy just go out and win it. Like I said, Rory McIlroy, I think, is a really nice play. I think it wraps the PGA Tour season in a nice bow with the most vocal leader of the PGA Tour, the most outspoken player in favor and in defense of the PGA Tour, goes and wins their big prize at the end of the year. I'll take Rory coming back from 6 down.
All right, guys, good stuff. And Jeff, congratulations. Jesse's back. You've talked a lot of crap on Twitter, so finally your wish comes true.
She's back, baby!
Your favorite host, which, I'm still top 2,
Obviously.
but your favorite host is back in the house now.
Show 1 in the books.
Ability has been restored.
How did it feel to be back? It's so nice to have you back. This is what I'm supposed to say. A lot of nice things.
I know. You
real
are
generic.
happy to have me back.
I
It feels
am,
good to
too.
be back. I'm excited. I'm happy to be here. Happy to see all of you. Happy to be back tomorrow morning at 11 a.m.
All right, awesome. Yeah, the show is back tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. You're actually going to be solo tomorrow morning. I haven't told you yet. So enjoy that, and
right.
I'll see everyone on Thursday.
Sounds good.